Hello everyone, I am Mulbre of the Mulbre Pack Den of Snow-Based Wolves, and welcome to Wolvden. For today's video, we're going to be doing a much needed spring den cleaning. And I have a bunch of puppies that need to be sorted, but also I need to be doing gene testing. So between my current stud being an albino character, between my favorite stud in the entire world being an albino carrier, and then or melanism, he's one of the two. And then I've actually had a couple breedings with studs that were carriers as well, but I'm really bad about gene checking. So if I don't like the puppy, I don't gene test them, and then I go to try and sell them and then they don't sell. And then sometimes they end up being carriers. And anyways, long story short, we're going to be organizing gene testing, and then we're going to be doing a lunar haul update. So I've been taking daily screen caps of before and after progress to show stat gain, lunar tier gain, as well as all of that fun stuff. So we're going to be talking about all of that. There will be no music on this video, so if you want to put on your own tunes, go right ahead. But for now, get yourself a food bundle and let's roll. Today's featured is one of my wolves, and that is Zev. So they are named after Dungeon Crawler Carl. Absolutely love those books. I just want to say I was listening to them before they were cool. So they're actually getting really popular, which is really fantastic. Apparently Markiplier's been listening, and I had no idea. I saw somebody on the Discord server talking about Markiplier. I was like, no way. That's really cool. But we have Zev. This puppy, I actually bought them from the trading center. Somebody was selling them for 70 silver, I want to say. But they're G1. We have found out who the parents are. I guess the stud was actually one I have bookmarked, and I've had them bookmarked for quite some time, and I do believe I even have technically half siblings to this wolf in my dens. So that was really exciting to find the breeder of this wolf. He's gorgeous. He's got chipmunk stripes. He's got, let's just start here at the bottom. He's got auburn smudge heavy, argent chipmunk backstripes, silver wings heavy, zircon butcher, brown cat shark light, auburn crawl, and shell Inuit unders. I think I'm going to leave him the way that he is because I already have betrothal plans for this boy. He is going to be integrated into my snow breeding project where I'll show you who they are. I am working on getting them their own dens just to kind of sort them out. It's Mustard Stain and Kingdom. They're going to get their own dens, and I'm going to integrate this boy into their family because I think he would be an absolutely wonderful fit for what I've been doing with these, because they all have T2, T6, T7 markings, as well as T8, the gold auburn, the gold whitetail spots. Sorry, I tried merging two names right there. I was saying gold whitetail and auburn smudge at the same time, but I think he'll go really well into this family. So as soon as I get a female from this pair, I will pair them off. I was thinking about pairing him to my lead. However, I have betrothed their firstborn son to my lead. So this pair right here is actually producing very important wolves for my lineages. I'm very excited to have him. Now that I've talked about the newcomer and what his plans are, I'm going to focus on gene testing. We're going to gene test a whole bunch of puppies, and then we will go about deleting them. Because even in my sales, I forget to be like, hey, these may or may not be carriers. I think to a degree, they're not as popular as one might think they are. I really feel like when it comes to carriers, it's all about the G1 carrier. That the G2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 do kind of tend to get forgotten about. They very much get pushed to the wayside, but that being said, they still need to be tested and found out and all that cool stuff. But we're going to go look. Now, these 3, I do believe, have been tested. I did find out that 2 of my high stat are melanism carriers, with 1 having a carrier for nothing. And of course, Morgana, she's midnight black. She's definitely a melanism carrier. These 2 puppies here, they're puppies of my lead, and their father should be an albino carrier. Yes, Borealis. We're going to do Alb. We'll see. Update. And this one needs to be tested as well because they share the same father. Oh, one is an albinism carrier. Awesome. Now I gotta figure out which one. Not this one. Haunted Visions. Yep, she's an alb carrier. Perfect. We're gonna change this one to new puppy. Non-carrier. There's 2 puppies. So those are both in my mother's daughters because they are direct descendants of Islena. Oh, and we do have Noivern and Frosted Forest are now mentors. My goslings are all passed on. They've all died, unfortunately, which leaves me with these wolves as my high stat wolves, but they are all on the crux of Death's Door as well, because they're all siblings. So the Baroness, Squawk, Noivern, and Davian, and Frosted Forest, they're all from the exact same litter. So once I lose those as mentors, I don't really have anyone filling in the void. I do have replacements for my stalkers, or not my stalkers, my scouts. I do have those training up the next scouts. So Morgana and Merlin are going to take over. At which point I could turn Darling and Funk into new mentors. There is Snowberry who could be a mentor, but I'll worry about that when the time comes. And then we have all of these babies. We're going to check who their daddies are. It should all be Borealis, honestly. Oh yeah, that's definitely a Bori baby. Gen 5. Oh gosh, they're gorgeous. The black dilution on that snow with the white limbs and Irish. Oh, the Luna dilution. That's what's doing it. They are gorgeous. All right, I'm going to test them. Well, that's disappointing. This entire batch, not a single carrier. I think I'll keep this one though, because I think this one is so gorgeous. And a cut for you, and a cut for you, and a cut for you. Okay, last cut. I hope so. I promise, I swear. I did decide to keep this one and roll. Now, all of these supposedly failed the gene test. I'm still going to check all of them just because I was thinking one project that I would like to take on is creating a generational line of only carriers, meaning the only way that the line would carry on is if they had a carrier or a fully melanated or albinated puppy. So like, for example, Morgana, her family, yeah, her father is a carrier. So then I would potentially keep this line going, but I think that this would fall under like a fail. So her father is the only carrier. So basically any puppies that come from Borealis and his wife, Aurora, so they have given me they've given me 2 double carriers actually. So their double carrier pup, I would need to pair off with another carrier, and then their pup would keep the line going. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is create a line of just like they have to have a carrier in order to continue. And if they don't have a carrier status, then they're gone. Oh, I have 2 deletes. Those can go. Actually, I guess I can check who your parents are. We do have one albino carrier. Check all of these. So many puppies. There's a lot of puppies. Okay. But are you worth checking? Yeah, they do have 2 T6s and 2 T3 markings. I guess we will go ahead and check them, but they will only be checking for albinoism. They're kind of interesting, the way that the vixen has come through on like their back legs and stuff. You definitely look like one I'd want to keep. 8 markings. Yeah, I think I'll hold on to this one and then consider like a base change. Oh, look at the cutie with their eyes. Yep, definitely. Wait, Bori and Vix. But how are you hetero? Vix isn't hetero. Vix is Smoke. Before I changed Bori's eyes, he was Saros. Can Smoke fail to hetero? Yeah, because the black and white came from my other baby daddy, came from Baron. Okay, I'm gonna open chat real quick and I'm gonna ask how this... I didn't know Smoke could fail. Because yeah, they're definitely a Borealis and a Vix baby. They're absolutely a Borealis and Vix baby. Like, no questions about it. That is 100% theirs. I guess Smoke eyes can fail to hetero eyes. Okay, this is another Bori and Vix baby. They're snow bees. I'm so proud of Bori. He makes such like the cutest babies. Oh, this is when he had the Saros eyes. So I bred him like 4 or 5 times when he had the Saros eyes. And these puppies, their mother is actually passed on. So Frozen Lake was their mother, and she did pass on. So what we have is what we have of her. But she actually gave me 2 patches pointed. I was so excited. These are definitely getting tested. If I could get some albino carrier patches pointed, that would make me so excited. Oh, this is a Hecate baby. Oh no, Lady Emily. The Lady Emily baby. Okay. That's right, because Hecate and Lady Emily both had those spots. Another snow baby. This is a dust baby, but it's definitely one of Bori's children. I love all the snow-based puppies that I got. Like, it makes my life easier when it comes to deleting if they're not snow-based, but I do like the snow-based. Oh, we got a carrier. The third one. So I'm going to assume 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're unknown. Dang it. Okay, we have one who's a carrier. We're going to have to go through every single one because they have gone out of order. But we've got one in that batch. Oh, we got a second carrier. Okay. But we're up to 2. 2 of these puppies are carriers. This won't sell and nobody would be happy to get them as a chased. So we're going to just delete that one. Oh, we found one of the albinisms. Okay, we found one. It's this little baby with the sorrow's eyes. So they have black dilution, moonlight pulse, white wraith, opal fleckles, biform argus, lozner cracks, and white limbs. They are a snow base, so I will be keeping them. We're going to move them to the Blizzard Grows. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping the majority of my patches pointed unless I truly don't like them. Just because the patches pointed is so expensive. Here's the other one. This puppy. I think I'm going to put this one up for sale. Yeah, what gen are you? Gen 2? Okay, so we found the 2 albinisms in that batch. I'm going to delete this one. Okay. Oh, that moved all of those. So we found one that we're going to keep and we found one that we're going to sell, which is good. That's so far, that's pretty good, actually. I think we found 4 in total so far because Haunted Visions was an albinism carry. There was the 2 we just dealt with. That does leave a few more because we got like Pickles is one we don't have to worry about, but I think Sun Glare. Let's check these 2. Oh yeah, this albinism carrier, we got that one. But we do have another batch of puppies. How am I doing on money? Hopefully we can last. Okay, so this one isn't my boy, but the father is an albino carrier, and I haven't tested them. Ooh. You have husky eyes. Where did that come from? Oh, Tomoe. This is Tomoe's first batch of babies. So we do want to carefully consider Tomoe's babies because I want to keep that family line going. But I think with Tomoe, I really want the Argent Irish that they have. Not Argent Irish. Argent Whitetail spots to continue forward. But for now, this is going to be an albino test. This one should be as well. All right, the next batch. Unfortunately, this next batch, there is not a single albinism carrier. They are all just normal wolves, which is okay. We'll say G2. Let's give them a name. Let's do Cracked Ice. Okay, well, that was unfortunate. I don't think we found any. Yeah, that entire batch was a dud. Yeah, this was an NBW Dalmatian Husky. I don't think this stud was a carrier for anything. Yeah, okay. That stud's not a carrier. He's still a beautiful stud. He's just not a carrier. So I don't have to worry about that one. Other than to go through and just list everybody as non-carriers, which I could do, which then leaves this hot mess. There's so many. I think I'm going to set up a couple trades real quick. Just because maybe make some sales while I'm doing this. Do a training lesson. I do need to do that. Really, so many puppies were ready for their 1 hour strength. Normally I start with smarts. Okay, that should have been all of my mentors right now. Okay, so that'll get that lesson done. That's a little bit more money in my favor. But we have reduced the amount of pups a little bit. I am not going to do any that are already in the Raise and Chase program. And I'm not going to worry about the sharks because there are just so many sharks and I have no way of remembering who is what and where. But I do know that here in my Sapphire project, now the Sapphire one is going to get a little bit more hardcore knocked down because any that are not carriers are going to get deleted. And that is because I cannot afford any more adults in this project. The adults that I have are the adults I'm going to have until they pass on. So Catalyst is almost 6 years old, but I have so many Lux-eyed females and Sapphire-eyed females, as well as like pair bonds, which I don't know what I was thinking, but I just, at this point, I have enough. So it looks like this female I was going to keep. I think a few of these I was planning on keeping, but starting here at this G3 cell, all of them, if they are not carriers, they are getting deleted. They will not be put into the Raise and Chase program. I mean, I guess they could be put in the Raise and Chase program, but not all of them. I'll chase the Sapphire-eyed ones and the Lux-eyed ones, but the rest will be deleted. Which actually, I guess I can save myself some time real quick. Check to see. Only the Okay, this one's blue. Oh, but they're so pretty. And they're snow-based. Okay, I'm gonna test this one because it is snow base. I have a feeling I've already gone through and sorted these. Okay, this one's quartz. Oh, but look at those markings. The whitetail spots and the cougar. Oh, 2 opal markings. Oh, pretty, but they're getting deleted. And they're in training. We'll do this. Just label them delete. Who gave birth to these puppies? They're so cute. Oh, it's the Wanderer. Okay, that's why. I'm like, these puppies are really cute, but they're just not what I was looking for, but they're kind of cute. It's because their daddy's the Wanderer. That's right. He gave me some really nice puppies. I think I got 2 breedings from him. So I'll actually see quite a few puppies from that batch. Unfortunately, they didn't have what I wanted. Although this one might be cute enough. Let's put this one in the sell pile. Let's see, isn't this a cutie? Oh, it's an onyx. Okay, this one yeah, I don't think their daddy was a carrier. Gertrude is not a carrier because their dad was melanism. Yeah, so Gertrude's not a carrier. Wanderer, I don't think you were. Yeah, he's not. So that means this baby is not at all a carrier. We did get a Lux baby, but I think that was still the Wanderer. Yeah. Okay, so this is a Luxide baby, but they're definitely not a carrier. We'll do non-carrier and we'll throw them in the raisin chase. All right, now we're back into the potential for albinism. Oh, but you have blue eyes. Honestly, they're snow-based, blue eyes, white, 8 marks. So we'll go ahead and test that one. You never know with me when a random male would has snuck in. Actually, Armageddon, have you been tested for melanism? Yes, you have. Okay. I didn't always check all of his babies. So it's like sometimes there is the possibility that a melanism carrier could sneak up on me. Not very likely, but possible. Who's your daddy? Mason. Mason, were you tested for melanism? No, you weren't. Okay, Mason is not a carrier for melanism. That means his puppy, the one that he had with Diana, is definitely not a carrier. I think your dad's Mason too, yeah? Alright, that's our next batch. Oh, we got one! There is one that's a carrier. Now we get to find out which one. I really should have done like albinism 1, albinism 2, albinism 3, but I got 2. Oh my gosh, there's 2 carriers. No way. That's so exciting. I think that brings us up to 6 for today. Okay, so of this batch, 2 of them are carriers. Not this one, which I did say if they weren't carriers, they're going to get deleted. Ooh. Oh, this is one of them. Okay, this snow-based baby here is an albino carrier, but they do have black eyes, which means that they actually have, I was going to say upgrade, but upgrade's not quite right. They have to move up into a different den. So they're going to go to the Blizzard Grows. Okay, there it is. I started panicking that I accidentally deleted the second one. This is the other albino carrier. They are white base. They will be getting sold. 1 more den done. Well, that's exciting. Found 2 wolves in my hetero-eyed project that were albino carriers. So we'll keep 1 wherever they went. Oh, that's right. I had to move them to a different den. So we'll keep 1 that we moved to a different den. And then we put 1 in the selling den. So we actually have 2 albino carriers now for sale. Wherever they're at, they're down here. Yeah, there's 2 albino carriers for sale. One's G2 and one's G3. So I'll get those up in trades. That was a lot. That was very expensive. I will not be getting my money back on that, by the way, like not even close. But the other thing that I wanted to do, because now that we have everybody organized, who's a carrier, who's not a carrier, who we're keeping, who we're not keeping, the next thing I wanted to do was the lunar gains. Yay, lunar gains. And I haven't forgotten about updating the acorn tracker, and I haven't forgot about this week on Wolvden, which I know I missed last week's, but it's nice to take a break sometime. Let's see, we're in the fall asleep phase of things. I think I have I've got 99 lunar essence. Now, I just have something I need to get off my chest, and that is regarding this little piggy. Now, I do believe I've talked about them briefly before. It was when they were just released. Since then, I have kind of learned more about them and got an understanding of this piggy. But its description here reads, "A terrifying screech freezes you in your tracks, only to witness a massive glowing pig drooling and burping. It seems to have insurmountable hunger in its reddish eyes, and this is a color you don't often see in the Dreamlands, and you swallow as you watch it eyeing you hungrily. You notice movement in its red, glowing belly. What nightmares brew inside?" So the movement it's talking about, there is a lizard, a hand, and a baby something. I don't know what that's a baby of. It's got a big tail, like a thicker tail. So, and it's really long, so it's not a puppy, But yeah, there's like stuff in this pig's tummy. Like, it is very voracious. And I do know that there are a couple options, such as giving it a glowing tongue. The glowing tongue gives you the lunar tears that we're after. However, here's what bothers me about this pig. It is like, actually, you know what? It is the one and only encounter that I actually hate getting while exploring. The reason for that is it costs 1 lunar essence to have this encounter pop up. It's random, but it takes our 1 lunar essence. Now, when we growl, let's look here. My lunar tears are at 199. I'm going to growl at it. That was an unfortunate loss of the lunar event, but I was showing that I had 199. I actually had 201, but we saw in my user log I didn't get anything from the pig. That was just because we lost the Dreamlands. If I had been able to actually take the event, I would have gotten 10 LE, lunar essence. But what bothers me about the pig is, so let's just say, for example, we have 10 LE. Right, we have 10 lunar essence. We encounter the pig, which then minuses 1 LE from our stash. Because every time we do anything, it takes an LE. So now we have 9 LE, and we're staring at the pig. If we growl at the pig, okay, so if we growl, if I spelled growl right, but if we growl, then we get plus 10 LE. So now we're sitting at 19 LE. So typically when we encounter an item, no matter what option we choose, whether we attack, we play, we growl, we chase, whatever, as long as we pick an option, we get LT, lunar tears. However, with the pig, we are not getting lunar tears. We're getting lunar essence. But at no point do we get our lunar tear from this pig. So now we've lost the opportunity to go get 10 lunar essence because the pig has given it to us. We will not go over that 100 in a day. So even if you're at 99 LE and you encounter the pig, you will not get 109. That will not happen. You will go, you'll either get nothing from the pig or you'll like stop at 100. You will not go up to 109. But what bothers me is so now we've gone up to 19. So now we're 1 LE short of actually getting our full potential of what we could for lunar tears. Because now we've gone up to 119 LE. So let's assume we hit the pig again. We minus 1 LE. And then we get plus 10 LE, 28 LE if we hit that pig twice. And it looks like we're getting more LE and we can keep doing more explore encounters, but what's actually happening is that pig is taking away our potential lunar tears. Every time we encounter that pig, we have lost a lunar tear to the exchange ratio. So if you get the 25 free LE, right? That's what you get from just logging in, plus the 100 we get from explore, then we have the potential for a minimum 125 LT. But by encountering that pig, it's no longer 125, it's 124 when we encounter that pig. If you encounter it a second time, it's 123. Because that pig, even though it's giving us 10 LE, it is not giving us LT. And we cannot go over that 100. But that same kind of concept applies to the dragonflies. However, with the dragonflies, you still get LT for the encounter. So you get the LT plus 3 LE. So I don't really have a point to this complaint other than to just complain about the pig. I'm not sure why they included this as an explore option, because it is 100% detrimental to anybody trying to farm lunar tears. Because now every time I see that pig, I'm like, oh God, please no. I'm like, please don't do this to me. Because now I'm losing out. I am literally missing out on currency for absolutely no reason. It does not benefit me in any way to get these 10 lunar essence from the pig. And it's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. But mini rant over. I will be completely honest, at the start of this cut-in, I don't remember exactly what I was what I said was going to happen for this part of the video. I do remember I was going to do a bit of a shopping and talk about my haul and talk about my gains. However, I have failed so badly at recording my day-to-day gains, like what I got after every single day of the lunar event, as well, but because I was trying to record my stats and my lunar tiers. I have buggered that. I don't know how I buggered it up so badly. So all I know is my end amount. I got 980 lunar tiers at the end of the event. I started with 18. I think that's actually pretty fantastic gains. I know that my lead wolf, Evangeline, she started with under 1500 stat points. She was level 19, but she did gain her 20th level. So between her 20th level and stat gains from the event, she has gone up to 1,570 stat points, which I think is pretty great. So we've gotten at least, I want to say, 30 stat points just from battling, excuse me. Well, let's just spend some lunar tiers. I've had a pretty good week, honestly. I had a week off from work, which was awesome. And I've been able to record every single day, which has been great. The first thing I'm getting is I wanted each of these triple eyes. I decided I'm not getting the new totality. I think the totality is cool. It just didn't, it does lack the pupil, which is what I like. I don't like the pupils, just because the things are so small, but just, it didn't look quite right. But I was thinking the other ones that I wanted was indigo, violet, and purple. Those were the three that I really wanted, as well as the triple eyes, the last two that I needed. How much does that cost me? Okay, that's actually 1,000 right now, so I cannot afford all of that. Okay, if I pass up on the purple, that gets me 800. So I have 180 left to spend. There is some exclusive lunar stuff for this event because it's a big fancy lunar. What do I want? I mean, honestly, these lunar bluet log is kind of calling to me. I think it was a couple backgrounds. Yeah, the super flower blood moon, total lunar eclipse over India, and total lunar over Kalbari. Well, I guess I can grab one of these, or maybe the super flower, and let's do the Kalbari. Yeah, it's 120. No, I'll pass on the flower. I think I'm happy with the eyes, and I think I might actually I'll put the backgrounds back, honestly. I think I'm just going to go with the 4 eyes. So I'm going to get a blood eclipse, total eclipse, indigo, and violet eye applicators. Okay, that is my lunar event haul for March, the big special lunar event this week in Wolvden. Now, obviously I'm late, and this is going to be irrelevant, but I will talk about what stays relevant, and that is the new combo base Night Form. So it is a combo of Biform and Night Chill. They've also released their unfolded marking applicators for those as well. So you can not only get the combo base, but all of the markings now have the combo options as well, which I really like. The little pictures that they've shown with those stripy legs. I think that's fun. And I think it's such a beautiful base. It looks like it has the stars hidden in the coat. My only thing with some of these bases is they're so beautiful, but they're so soft. They're so delicate that literally any marking over the top of these and the base just disappears completely. But I do think it is beautiful. I think they've done an amazing job on it. Those are the only things that are going to be sticking around because obviously the lunar event will be over by the time this video goes live. So I hope all of you had a wonderful lunar event and that you got everything you wanted and maybe more. And let's go back to the news and the community update. But this one is a reminder about the lunar event. There's a roleplay rules update regarding attempts to circumvent posting in the official character sheets forum. I guess people were doing something with that. I don't know anything about roleplay, so you want to read it, you can pause the video, otherwise I'm skipping. There's the official Wolvden raffle. This one will be over, but I'll show it here anyways. Looks like it was lunar eclipse themed. I already got my ticket. We will talk about the new one here in a second. There was a reminder to post stud attributes if you had any you wish to request. Here was this week's stud. He is very pretty. He's smoked salt with ebony vixen points. That's really cool. Brown leopard shark. He's very pretty. He's very pretty. And then no pulls and a couple bug fixes. It is now the next update. It's actually the weekend for me, so we're a day behind on this, but we are now up to date on the updates, and this one is actually huge. It's definitely well worth the downtime that we had on Friday. I wasn't rolling on Friday, so it kind of worked out, but I did take a couple peeks here and then just to kind of see if I had any notifications, and it was down pretty much all day Friday. We got some new stuff, starting with the brindle being officially released. There is regular brindle and inverted brindle, which I think is pretty neat. I like the little, the stripey. I think my favorite part is on the face here with the brindle, but it's going to be obtained through a different way than normal. So it says these markings have a new, unique mechanic for spawning. They can be passed down naturally as markings from their parents, or at a low rate, spawned fresh when bred from parents that have compatible marking colors. If one or both parents have a marking that has a matching color in a brindle or inverted brindle variant, there's a small chance that this marking could mutate into brindle or inverted brindle on a puppy. The current available color options are listed below: aspen, beige, cedar, cream, gold, gray, honey, magnolia, red, salt shell, xanthic, yellow, white. Inverted is black, brown, dark brown, ebony, gray, henna, honey, lilac, liver, nocturne, and pumice. There's also color combos that can result in brindle: argent, daria, doubloon, ducat, lily, marble, saffron, zircon. For inverted, it's dinar, iridium, shadua. So if you have the shadua marking, it could mutate into brindle. Boosts: once the initial chance to spawn a fresh brindle or inverted brindle marking is met, the likelihood the marking will mutate into brindle or inverted brindle can be increased if a parent has a dilution marking, a parent has stripes or stripes marking, a parent has a piebald mutation, boosts inverted brindle, or a parent has patches mutation, boosts brindle. So if you have, say, a wolf that contains, just for giggles, 9 dinar markings, but it also has 1 dilution marking, like black dilution, the black dilution increases the chance that one of those 9 dinar markings mutates into brindle. Same if they have a stripe marking, like back stripe, head stripe, rump stripe, something like that. Piebald and patches, that's pretty clear. So like patches pointed, which is what my stud currently has, means that if anyone he mates with has one of these colors, his patches will increase the likelihood that you will get a brindle baby. Additional notes: markings will appear in random slot at random opacity. If neither parent has a brindle marking, only one may spawn. If a parent has a brindle marking, multiple may pass. So once you get the brindle, it becomes a lot easier to get brindle. Combo color brindle markings can only be generated by breeding the appropriate brindle cross inverted brindle combinations. For example, argent brindle is only possible from shell brindle times white brindle crossing. Oh, okay. So you can only get an argent brindle after brindle has already been obtained. So my dinar example only works if you've already got dinar, if you already have brown brindle and honey brindle. Okay, that's good to know. Then we have tier 4 markings, which are special bred markings currently where brindle are excluded from the RMA entirely. If you'd like to suggest changing that, we'd like to see community feedback first and let the community enjoy the initial breeding discovery first. I don't want it to be RMA. Now, this is just my initial impression right at the initial release. I think there is enough RMA markings, and I would like at least one thing to not be obtainable from RMA. I do like having raffle markings being obtainable through RMA, just because with raffle markings, they're only obtainable in the slot the designer releases that slot in. So like for my shark breeding project, I needed slot 1 to get all 10 marking slots. So waiting for a stud designer to release a raffle stud with slot 1 leopard shark was very likely never going to actually happen. But for something like this, my initial thought is no RMA. You breed for it or you don't, especially since it can be in a random slot, meaning you can get brindle in any slot. It's random, but also because RMA just has so much in general already that it's already just about impossible to get what you want from RMA. I'm looking at you, unders. And then they're excited to see what breeding projects you create with these new markings. They tell us good luck. Then there was a couple questions from chat. Chat asked if the same color markings have to be in the same slot for brindles to spawn. No, they do not. Chat asked if you breed any two random white markings together, there's a tiny chance for white brindle. Yes, very, very, very tiny. New Merle shaped released. So there's heavy Merle and Merle scarce. Merle's kind of, I like Merle and I don't like Merle. Like I'm enjoying the Merle scarce. I do like that. I'm not sure if I'm vibing with heavy Merle, but I think they are both lovely. I just prefer Merle scarce, but that's just personal preference. I think they are lovely. It's always nice to get new markings. They can appear in RMAs and shuffles and will be in the same tier as Merle. Oh, interesting. So what they have to say about it is these Merle shapes per a vote pool majority will only appear as deviations or mutations of existing Merle when breeding. So much like Shepherd heavy marking can appear when breeding a Shepherd marking. This is interchangeable, which means that when you breed any Merle shape, it could mutate into a different one from the Merle group. These can appear in RMAs and shuffles and will be in the same tier as Merle. So all you Merle breeders out there, everybody out there who is trying to get 10 Merle markings on a single wolf, y'all are about to probably get really rich. and good luck to anyone trying for those. So Merle heavy and scarce come in cream, honey, salt, shell, white, xanthic, and yellow. They can also come in the color combos Argent, Doubloon, and Ducat. Merle heavy patches and Merle scarce patches have black, brown, dark brown, and ebony. There's also a bunch of new stuff in the raccoon wares, which we have here, a little compilation picture. There's a little froggy on a tree. I really want this bird that's like standing on top of the stick screaming. Like that's such a mood. That is such a vibe that I need in my life. But of course I'm in the wrong biome for it, but absolutely love it. These are all obtainable from the raccoon wares. It looks like I think each one got at least one butterfly, one bird. But yes, so 24 backgrounds and 66 decors. They have been so busy. I absolutely love all of them. I love the vibe. I like how this bottom one that has the aurora over the top. I think that is stunning. But then we have the next raffle stud. So here he is. Look at that, gorgeous, with the Gilder, which is a T2 combo base. Well, it's a special medium combo, so he's bred from breeding two T2 bases together to get the Gilder. He's got dark hazel eyes, brown wings, brown Arapawa coat, Shadua leopard shark, cocoa black, ebony shaded, black predator, ebony wings heavy, cocoa spectacles, honey vixen points, and doubloon patchy unders. I think I will go ahead and enter for him. Sirius the Second. Gorgeous. I did not see an official raffle. Okay, let me check real quick if there's an official raffle. No, I don't think there is an official raffle. Ah, here we go. It's Shad who's been doing it. What's your number? 555? Okay, there is not an official raffle for this week. Totally understandable. With all the work that they've done and then the issues on Friday with like the whole rolling back and everything, I imagine it was just not high up on the the list of things that needed to get done. It's just totally okay because it's like lunar event and everything, but that is okay. That is that development update. We will now go to the acorn tracker. So we have acorns times 4 for 450. So that is 112. No, yes, that's 112 per acorn. And that's on the low end. We have here acorns times 10 for 1,000. That does bring us down to 100 silver per acorn. And it looks like only one page has buyouts. And then on the reverse, it looks like 1 for 780. All right, with that 780 being an outlier, we do have 5 for 550. So that's 110. I mean, if we want to do the outlier for 780, so a low of 100, a high of 112, because that would be the 4 for 450. Yeah, because the 5 for 550 is 110 each. Yeah, we're not going to do this one outlier of 780, because that is like really high, and it doesn't fit. We're not tracking gold, so we're not going to do the golden acorn. So we're going to do a low of 100 and a high of 112. All right, there is our acorn tracker. Now we did skip week 9, so we just kind of glossed right over that's existence. But looking at it, there was a huge raise in the price. Now, the overall median of it being around the 100 range is really normal. The 10 silver was an outlier, but then the drop in the high from 125 to 112 is actually a pretty significant drop, considering the normal average is around that 120 silver mark. So that's pretty cool. Slowly just following it along. We're starting to see some averages. We're starting to see what looks like an outlier, like, you know, what's a really cheap deal versus what's a really expensive deal. But all in all, when it comes to the Wolvden market, I do feel like this is something I need to say. When it comes to the Wolvden market, the items that are for sale on the trading center are there for sale because they haven't sold. It doesn't mean that just because somebody has the price of something up on the market, that is what market price is supposed to be. It's better to look at what has sold before to actually get an idea of what something should be worth. You also have to consider supply and demand, and you also have to consider, is it really worth trying to charge somebody that amount? But I do see a lot of people looking for price checks, and the answer is always just, well, go look at the trading center. Go see what else is available on the trading center. The prices that matter are the price that you're willing to pay and the price that somebody else is willing to sell for. So if you've got an acorn and you're like, I will not sell an acorn for less than 100 silver per acorn, then that is your price. That is the value of it. If you're a buyer and you're like, I will not pay more than 50 silver for an acorn, then don't pay more than 50 silver for an acorn. And then that becomes your value and your price. So like I personally, I buy a lot of lucky feet. I will not pay more than 70 silver for a lucky foot. And that is because the use of a lucky foot guarantees absolutely nothing. So when I'm looking at making a purchase and I'm seeing lucky feet for sale for 100 silver to 200 silver, or I'm seeing them like 10 for 5 gold, I just personally will never buy that trade ever, because that is the price I'm willing to pay does not match the price they are willing to sell for. So when I do this acorn tracker, it is just for fun. It doesn't actually mean anything other than just funsies. That is all for today. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you want your wolf featured in one of my videos, just be sure to make a comment down below the video letting me know that you want to be featured, and then send me a message on Wolvden. My player number is 163020. In that message, just include the link to the wolf, maybe a little bit that you want me to tell about the wolf, and you will be featured at the start of one of my videos. So until next time, have a positive day, everybody. Bye-bye.